To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers. I'm making out.
What's up, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome back to NBA Talk. This is episode 132, and we got quite a few things to talk about today with the All-Star selections, game takes, obviously people's takes on what's supposed to be an NBA Finals preview of Lakers versus Nets. I'll give my take on all of that, and we're also going to get into other things, so let's get on right to it. First of all, how y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing well, and let's get on with it. Let's start with the headline from last night. I know everybody was watching. Probably a lot of people weren't because there was some disappointing news going into this matchup when it came to Lakers versus Nets. Obviously, Lakers had no Anthony Davis, and at the last moment, they didn't have Dennis Schroeder due to situational protocols. This is what I'm going to call it. Dennis Schroeder had to be pulled out of the game for health and safety protocols. Anthony Davis, obviously, it was announced last night that he's going to be out for another 4 weeks with the calf strain. So the Lakers were, I wouldn't say extremely shorthanded, but they were shorthanded because they were missing two big scoring options. So it was LeBron, Montrezl Harrell, and Kuzma, Alex Caruso, Wesley Matthews, KCP against James Harden and Kyrie Irving and role players from the Brooklyn Nets because Kevin Durant didn't play as well. So the hype for this matchup really did die down for me a little bit because I want to see both teams at full strength, but I did learn something from this game last night. If the Brooklyn Nets don't hit from a high clip, there was no way that this game was going to be close. From what I saw was anytime the Lakers got timely stops and even consecutive stops, the Lakers cut the game to within 10 points. And the Brooklyn Nets had to hit on a high clip. Like their shooters had to make those 16 threes. Because if they didn't, I guarantee you the score would not look like it the way it did. Because everybody talking about that they held the Lakers to 98 points. The Lakers just missed shots. The Nets didn't do anything special. I want people to get something. I want people to understand that the Brooklyn Nets did nothing special. They did the same thing that they always do. They outshoot and outscore you. And that's basically how they won this game. They basically won by, let's get a big lead. They could make a couple mistakes because they have that big lead, and that's about it. Because the Lakers just made mistakes. They made mistakes. They made mistakes and missed shots. The Brooklyn Nets had no such presence on the defensive end. I will live with that take. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets did anything special. LeBron still got his. He got up 32 and reached a milestone, and now his second all-time in scoring. And to me, it just makes me seem like even if Dennis Schroeder was playing, I think this game would have been a lot more interesting because LeBron putting up 32, I guarantee you Dennis Schroeder would have at least had 20. He would have at least had 20, and it would have been a good effective 20 along with LeBron's 32. Because the problem with LeBron's 32 was he created his own 32, and Kuzma had to create his own shots as well. But the other shooters were just not hitting. KCP just wasn't hitting, and neither was Wesley Matthews. And yeah, it was just the Lakers were just missing shots. I didn't see that Brooklyn did anything special. And then James Harden, he put up 23, and then you had Kyrie Irving put up 16, Joe Harris put up 21. It was an okay night for the Nets. It was an okay night. But like I said, they have to outshoot you. They have to have a big lead and they have to outshoot you. That's basically how they have to beat teams. Their blueprint to beat teams, I don't believe is going to win them a championship. I just don't see it. I believe you have to get stops. I believe you gotta clamp up I believe you gotta clamp up at some point in time, and I don't see the Brooklyn Nets have that personnel. Now, offensively, they when KD gets back, this team is gonna be dangerous as a and they're gonna be dangerous to put away when it comes to the postseason. But we're not talking about the postseason right now. We are strictly talking about a regular season win that I guarantee, and I can tell you this. I can guarantee you, people are blowing this game out of proportion. People are blowing this game out of proportion with the fact that, oh, look how much the Brooklyn Nets dominated. I will sit here and tell you, the Lakers don't care. They really don't freaking care about losing a regular season game. We solely look at the Lakers at this point and say they're gonna go straight to the postseason, and they're gonna go into the postseason. They're gonna go into that mindset thinking, just let us get healthy, and we're gonna show you what the hell we do in the postseason. Like, just maintain that number 1 or number 2 seed in the West, and that's about it. Because even the Utah Jazz, as great as the great of ball that they're playing right now, and they are playing amazing ball right now. Are we really gonna pick the Utah Jazz to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series? But yeah, we got, like I said, that LeBron's second all time in scoring now. He passed 35,000 points. Congratulations to the King. But Lakers versus Nets is already done. Let's get on to the game, another game previous to that game from last night, and that is the Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm gonna give my very honest opinion on this. The Bucks look bad. The Bucks look bad. I'm telling you, they look bad. Like, I knew this team was not gonna be good as the team from last year. I noticed that I don't think I saw Drew Holiday last night, but the effect of him not being on the floor was big. It was big because I don't know how the Milwaukee Bucks scored as many points as they did, because they looked absolutely awful. Like, the Toronto Raptors, they were spacing out the floor. They were making Brook Lopez trying to run out to the perimeter, and they just look bad. I just don't have any other words for the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Giannis getting caught in situations where he had to take jump shots. It just looks, it's just hard to watch. And then defensively, it's like if Giannis is not there, they can't get stops either. It's like the Toronto Raptors were hitting from the perimeter. They were hit with no Fred VanVleet was going at Giannis to the rim. Nobody fears the Milwaukee Bucks anymore. Nobody fears them like they did in years past. Because I believe it was like 2019, the Bucks were a bit of a surprise. So to see them dominate the way that they did, it was a surprise. Then you had 2020. The Bucks looked like they got even better, and they were on pace to get 70 wins before this whole situation started. And then after that, they just blew the whole roster up. And to me, this roster is awful. DJ Augustine, to me, DJ Augustine is not good unless he absolutely has to have the ball in his hands. And if you don't have somewhat of an open lane, he's gonna take these tough 3-pointers that are just not gonna go in. And Chris Middleton, I don't understand why he has to take such tough shots. He would have an open look, and then he would try to go in for the mid range and take a tough mid ranger instead of taking an open 3. And then I think the league has found, and then I believe I've mentioned this in my last video. The league has figured out how to stop Giannis. I believe teams have finally figured out how to stop Giannis, because you had, and this was the highlight of the night for me. Fred VanVleet stripping the ball from Giannis while Giannis was on the drive. And I'm not talking like a quick poke steal. I'm talking he's literally holding the ball. He's holding the ball and takes the ball from Giannis's hands. That's what I saw. Now, you look at Fred VanVleet and you say, this guy locked down, this guy was stopping Giannis. You look at this Raptors squad and you say this team was stopping Giannis. Well, they just beat this Bucks team the night before, and they dominated in their second game. They dominated on they blew them out on the perimeter. Pascal Siakam was having a field day. Like, the Raptors in general, they just know how to beat Milwaukee at this point. They just know how to beat Milwaukee, and Milwaukee has become very one-dimensional. So they're on a 5-game losing streak. And the quote that they said that Giannis gave to the media was that they're not in panic mode. Well, are you in panic mode now? Because you lost 5 straight games. Twice to the Raptors. You've lost twice to the Raptors. One of them came to the Utah Jazz. You lost. The Bucks in general have just taken some bad losses. They've just been taking really bad losses, and if they don't get their crap together, this is gonna be a very hard season after Giannis signs that big contract and tries to make y'all look good. And then speaking of teams that are becoming very tough to watch, but me personally it's kind of satisfying to see. Me personally, I don't mind seeing the Boston Celtics playing the way that they do, because I kind of called from the jump that the Celtics did not do enough in the offseason in order to take that next step. Tristan Thompson was not an upgrade. Tristan Thompson was a downgrade. You might as well should have tried to get Aaron Baines back. That would have been an upgrade for you, because honestly, the Boston Celtics is like they don't have that. They always have miscommunications. They are never in rhythm. Somebody's always having an off night. Like come on, let's take the game against the Wizards. You had Bradley Beal going off for 35, and then you had Jason Tatum, who's supposed to be your best scorer, getting 6 points. Jason Tatum's been having a lot of those nights where he'll end up in single digits, and then Jaylen Brown, who's having an amazing year, is like those points are not effective enough, because, like I said, they got blown out to the Wizards. And then they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. Now the Atlanta Hawks, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Atlanta Hawks, to me, have been an interesting team, because they're another team that if they don't try to outscore you and outshoot you, then they're not gonna win. They're not gonna win the game, because defensively, I don't think they're any good either. I don't think the Hawks are defensively any good either. So to me, they always have to try to quickly outscore you and outshoot you. That's the only way that the Hawks can try to win. And that's what they did against the Boston Celtics. They were attacking the lane a lot, because there is no rim presence. There's no presence under the rim. So it's a field day for certain teams. I feel like a lot of teams could go attack the rim all night long, and you saw it. You saw it against elite teams. You see how it works when they play Philly. You saw what happened when they played the Lakers. They were attacking the rim because the Celtics have no size. You had Danny Ainge himself saying that this roster is not good enough to win a title. And to me, Danny Ainge, this is half your fault. This is half your fault. Because you're the one that constructed this roster. You had a team in 2019. You had what was quote unquote the most deepest and most talented team in the NBA. You had Kyrie. You had Gordon Hayward. You had Marcus Morris. You had Aaron Baines. There was so many pieces on this team. You had Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart. Now, granted, like I said, like I'm gonna mention at this point, the defensive end. I'm gonna mention right now. That's because of the injury to Marcus Smart. You could clearly see why they rely on Marcus Smart to be that defensive leader, and you see why because obviously Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are not effective enough on the defensive end for them to be considered defensive leaders. But Jason Tatum got to step up a little bit. Because I see Jaylen Brown, he's playing this amazing season right now, and Jason Tatum, he's up and down. Like one night he'll give you 9 points, the next night he gives you 40. Like I sit here confused. I really do sit here confused. It's like he's very up and down. He's very up and down. It's like when I watch Anthony Davis this year. Anthony Davis before they took him out with injury, I don't believe he was playing up to his standards. And that's the same way we look at Jason Tatum. We look at Jason Tatum like you had this big breakout year, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like you started out the season great. But then it's like you have these up and down games. It's like I understand. Like it happens to everybody. Not everybody gonna have the ball's not always gonna go in for everybody, but Jason Tatum's gotta find a way to be more effective if his shot is not falling. Like at least use that size and length to somehow be effective on the defensive end of the floor. But anyway, enough about the Celtics. The Miami Heat are another team that for me are difficult to watch, even though they beat the Sacramento Kings last night. They've just been absolutely frustrating for me to watch. If Jimmy Butler is not in the lineup, it's like the Miami Heat can't get stops. And our offense just doesn't run the same when Jimmy Butler's not on the floor. I don't know what moves the Miami Heat plan on making, but you better make them quick. Because I understand that the three-point shooting, because that's another thing. Miami is another three-point oriented team. If their three-point shots are going, they look like one of the best teams in basketball. But so far, the three-point shooting has not been as effective as it was the year before. Around this time last year, the Miami Heat were 24-8. Now the Miami Heat are sitting outside of the top 8 in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference. Now I'm not gonna sit here like a bunch of these other idiots talking about how this proves the Miami Heat's finals run was a fluke. Get out of here with that. Seriously, get out of here with that. Like seriously, anybody that says that that's a fluke, I'm gonna sit here and tell you that the Raptors finals run was a fluke. So get that out of your skulls. But it is becoming very frustrating to watch this Heat team. And I hope things turn around after the All-Star break. I really do because I'm tired of these up and down wins where it's like they win one game and then they lose the next two. They lose the next 2 or 3 games. Like that's not what us Heat fans are used to. We're used to tough losses. We're not used to blowout losses. So it's like if we would lose games by like 1 or 2 points, I wouldn't be as frustrated because I'd be like, okay, if Miami just starts getting their crap together, maybe these L's will start turning into dubs. But that's not the case. They have a habit of blowing leads. They have a habit of turning the ball over when they have a big lead. Hence the game against Golden State. Like they were up 14 on Golden State, and they blew that lead and ended up tying the game and losing the game in overtime. Like that should not have happened. That should not have happened. Like you don't. It's one thing. It's one thing to have a big lead and then you commit a few turnovers. No, the Heat committed a lot of turnovers when they had a 14-point lead. So yes, I'm coming very down. I'm coming very hard onto my Heat because I'm not used to seeing this. I'm not used to seeing this. Now I'm used to the down years of the I am used to. I did see the down years of the Miami Heat. After '06, how bad they used to be. I've seen the down years. Trust me, I've seen the down years. But a down year like this, coming off of a finals run, come on, man, come on, man. That's just get your crap together. Get your crap together because I'm over here talking about Milwaukee being on a 5-game losing streak, but the Miami Heat are sitting outside of the Eastern Conference. They're outside of the top 8 in the Eastern Conference. Like Jesus Christ. Sometimes I think we're as bad as Detroit. But anyway, the next topic. Another topic that the All-Star starters have been were announced last night. The Western Conference, you have Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Nikola Jokic. Now, granted, a lot of people on this list, people agree with, except for Luka Doncic because apparently he won it over Damian Lillard, and Damian Lillard has been playing the best basketball of his career. He has been playing the best basketball of his career, and Luka Doncic, to me, he started out the season very slow. So the fact that the fan voting is what won him over Damian Lillard, it kind of questions you because Luka Doncic is a fan favorite. He is a fan favorite, but so is Damian Lillard. But it just makes me question, don't you want the best basketball players in the world? Don't you want the best basketball players in the world on the court playing on the same court? But then Luka Doncic is not a slouch. But to me, at this point, Luka Doncic could easily be a reserve. I don't think Luka Doncic should be a starter. He should be a reserve. So, but it is what it is. And then you got the Eastern Conference. You got Kyrie Irving. Hold on. Let me just be clear on something real quick. Let me just make sure I got something right. Oh, hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. Finally, Bradley Beal is getting the recognition that he deserves. He's getting the recognition he deserves. He's gonna be a starter in the All-Star game. Thank God, because bro, I was really starting to question if they were really gonna snub him of a starting position in the All-Star game because he's on a bad team. Like I was really starting to question that. And Joel Embiid, obviously, Joel Embiid is going to be a starter. Look at the year that he's having. He's averaging damn near 30, and he's putting out the best numbers that I've seen since probably the year that Jimmy Butler was there. This is probably the best I've seen him play since then. Kevin Durant and LeBron James are officially the captains of the opposing teams. This should be interesting. This should be interesting because LeBron and Kevin Durant have been teammates in the All-Star game. They've been teammates in the last two All-Star games. No, not last two All-Star games. And you get my point. But now it's going to be interesting to see them as opponents in the All-Star game. Who are they going to pick as their teammates? I can guarantee you, whoever gets Giannis is going to be a deal breaker. Whoever gets Giannis is going to be a deal breaker. If Kevin Durant gets Giannis, that's already enough length as is. If LeBron James gets Giannis, that's going to be a monster right there. Because I can already see LeBron trying to build a long, lengthy lineup with him, Giannis, and Anthony Davis. And I could probably think that he's probably going to try to get Jokic. And I could already picture that as is. And then he probably gonna want Luka Doncic, and he probably gonna try to steal Kyrie Irving from Kevin Durant. That would be funny if he took Kyrie from Kevin Durant. That would be funny. And then Kevin Durant, he probably gonna try to get his two teammates. He probably gonna get he probably gonna try to take, if Damian Lillard, well, most likely Damian Lillard is a reserve. He probably gonna try to take Damian Lillard. I think Kevin Durant's gonna try to get more of the shooters, and LeBron probably gonna try to get the more lengthy, freakishly athletic players. Well, we'll see when they pick their teams. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's enough with the All-Stars. Like I said, people got upset that Damian Lillard wasn't a starter, and even the Portland Trail Blazers Twitter page even said it, like how Damian Lillard isn't a starter, and that was just disappointing. But it is what it is. I believe I talked everything I need to talk about, because I would sit here and give game takes throughout the week, but there's just so many games that happen, and so many things, and I have not been feeling well, so it's just, and I can only talk about this for so much, so I'm gonna try to be a lot more consistent, and I said try. So most likely you're gonna get a video weekly. You're gonna get an episode weekly. So that I'm gonna try to be more consistent with that, and I'm gonna try to be more on top of these games. But there's just so many games that go on throughout the week. It's just very hard to keep up. And then if I miss a game, I feel very bad. So I only went over the games from last night. So just to get a fresh start again. So anyway, that's it. That's all. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell if you like basketball content. This is your boy Jay Varsity. Stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.
We got some non-believers out there.
Make believers out of non-believers. Make believers out the overseers. Make them bow down.